Fatherless No More is about an Orlando-based pastor and former Super Bowl champion that gets a divine call to move into an RV on Rikers Island, which is the second largest jail in America, very infamous for a lot of actually celebrities who have been jailed before. I think Tupac was there at one point, but they're really known for just the violence and the terror that happens. And so he moves into an RV and wants to start an initiative called Fatherless No More, where essentially he mentors young kids 18 to 22 who are detained at Rikers Island. And so we follow his journey on what that is like. And since he had moved on the island, the stabbings and slashings at Rikers decreased nearly 60%.
Wow.
So
6-0?
6-0, yeah. I
Wow.
think the exact percentage is 57.
And
But
what's the reason for that? Like, why? That's a huge drop.
I think when you see real transformation happen, and it's not just a program where you go in, you sign a sheet, and you try to like do good. It really is a heart transformation that these guys are experiencing, which helps them with their decision making. It makes them think twice about, what they want to do with their lives and how they want to lead their lives, even behind bars. So
Yeah.
that's what the film kind of
Yeah.
navigates, which is really cool.
The film is so good.
Thank you.
Like, it is so. Are you tired of people saying it's so good? 'Cause I
No,
feel like
girl, no. I mean, that's probably one thing a producer loves. Like, what did you think? Like, give me your
Yeah.
insight. I love hearing people's takes on it.
It is so beautiful. I've seen it. We're gonna say 2.5 times because I saw it while it was still
in the rough stages.
It didn't look rough to me, but maybe in like the rougher stages to you. I guess for me, when I think about like how amazing this film is, all this stuff, my question is like, why? Like, why did you feel like it was necessary to tell your dad's story, and why now?
That's a good question. And I always say this because we get this question a lot at these film festivals. It actually was Ashley. So Ashley's the co-director, DP, editor, and everything else.
Wearing all the hats.
Yeah, shout out Ashley Robinson. So Ashley Robinson, I met her at ESPN as well. She's an incredible producer. And we were, friends actually after ESPN, which is crazy, but we moved to New York at the same time. And so after the pandemic, I moved home. Ashley stayed in New York. And when she heard about my dad going to Rikers, she was like, hey, I really think you should start, filming your dad or just like documenting what's going on. And for me, I wasn't as, compelled to go just because my dad has done a lot of different things that are outside the box to some people. So I'm like, why? Like, why do we need to do this? And she was like, Kayla, I don't think you understand. Nobody had ever asked to live on an RV on Rikers Island. And what he was doing was just unprecedented, which, yes, we thought what he was doing was amazing. But we were also like, it's dad.
Yeah,
So,
that's who he is. Yeah.
So somebody else actually reached out to my dad about doing a documentary, and that ended up falling through. My mom was the one that was like, Kayla needs to do it. No.
I didn't know that.
Somebody else reached out. Yeah. And so, I was in full support. I was there. I actually was going to be more of like a consultant and just help, make sure that the story is accurate. Because one thing about me, I don't play by my family.
That part.
And so if you're going to tell a story, I want you to make sure that it's accurate and not just like another crime doc or a jail story.
Right.
But my mom and Ashley were the ones that were like, you need to do it. You need to do it. So long story short, or long story medium, I guess, I ended up having a conversation a year and a half after my dad had started going to Rikers. And I was like, hey, do you think they'll let us bring cameras in? Because when he first started going, no cameras were allowed. Nor did he want to bring cameras in. I think that's important to note, too.
It's like a trust.
Yeah, trust. You're coming in and everyone's expecting you. A lot of the guys said that we thought he was going to come in with all these cameras and put them on display, but he came in with nothing but his friend and his weapon of love, if you will. So he I think after a year and a half, they really started trusting him. The report of the initiative was, spreading throughout the jail. And so I was like, Dad, what do you think about this? This is when, the other production company fell through. And he was like, let's just do it. Let's just ask. And the commissioner was like, yes, let's start bringing cameras. And one thing led to another. And yeah,
That's
we started filming.
amazing. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's interesting. You kind of said briefly, like, it's just dad. Like, my dad's awesome, and her dad is, like,
Yeah, he is
incredible. Shout out PT. But I feel like it could be an interesting thing, I think, from my perspective, like, and it's very different, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, with my brother, sharing my brother with the world is a very interesting experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so for you too, I don't know, you're a PK, so there's like a whole other element there, but you've always kind of shared your dad, whether it's with fans, whether it's with his congregation, whether it's with these men of God. What has that been like for you, and how has that influenced your relationship with him?
Yeah, man, that's a lot of layers.
Yeah.
Because I had an amazing dad, or I have an amazing dad, and not a lot of people can say that. I know a lot of my friends who have had strained relationships with their dad, or they may have a good dad, but maybe like spiritually they didn't feel fulfilled in that role. And then I've had friends who just flat out, they're like, Dad, what is that? So I've had a range of friends that grew up with an absence of a father, and knowing how amazing my dad is and how present he is and what that did for me growing up, I always want somebody that lacked that to experience that, in an earthly form. Obviously, we all have a heavenly father. Whether you know him or not, he is your heavenly father. But there is something to having an earthly father to call, or to give you a hug, or to encourage you. And especially for my friends that maybe never experienced that, I always just want to share that. And I've never felt neglected in that way. I've never felt like I'm losing out on something for sharing him, because his capacity is insane. And that's only because of how he seeks God. That's probably another, you might have to ask him that.
Yeah.
But his capacity is so large. And so I think me sharing him is just something that came naturally for me and my sibling, because there's 4 of us.
Yeah.
So it's 4 kids and maybe 100 spiritual children.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's kind of how I thought about it. It's just like, I know how amazing this was for me.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that everybody at least gets to experience that. If they're friends with me, I want them to experience that.
And what has it been like now? I guess for people who watch the film, you can't watch it and not be like, I love him. So I'm sure you have tons of people being like, your dad's amazing. Yes. You're like, I know.
Right.
He's always been this
or
way.
other comments where I'm like, we won't go there. I'm just like,
next episode.
But no, yeah. Everyone's just like, he's the best. And I'm like, I mean, you can't negate it. And actually, what's so funny is that I think some person, they weren't saying that it wasn't genuine, but I think hearing people like my dad, it's easy to be like, oh, this guy is a fake. Like, there's no way he's really like that. And I'm like, y'all don't even know.
Wow.
Like, that's not even a quarter of who he really is.
Wow.
And I mean, the film shows how much he loves people, but
you're like, that's a
man, I love people for real.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, seriously. You're like, what you're seeing is
what you're getting.
Literally.
Not even, yeah. It's like even more genuine.
Yeah. Literally. So. That is so cool. I guess through this process, is there something new? I mean, you've been with your dad since you were born. That's about 56 years. But what has it been like?
Why are you laughing?
I'm making old person jokes saying you're 56. But I'm curious for you.
Yeah, she calls me a boomer. That's crazy.
She is. But for you, in this process of filming him.
People are going to think I'm like 40.
You are.
I actually should say that I'm 40. And I was like, oh my God, you look so young. And then when I say my real age, they're like, oh.
You do look really good for your age.
Well, at least we know I'm younger than 40.
You're younger than 40. You do look good for 39. But seriously though, what have you learned about your dad? Obviously you've been with him your whole life, but I'm assuming it's almost like, I don't know, when you read a book or you see the same movie 1,000 times, but 1001, you're like, oh, I've never noticed that. Like, is there anything about your dad where you're like, oh God, like I didn't know that about you before?
I mean, well, that he's a real person with real genuine feelings.
Mm.
Like, and I'm not saying he gets offended easily or like feelings sway him, but you know, he gets sad, he gets happy. And it's
Yeah.
not that I knew that about him, but seeing those emotions in real time,
Mm.
and you actually see that a little bit in the film, like he has real, genuine doubt.
Mm.
You know, I don't want to give too much away,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just like there's a lot of a range of emotions that he feels, and you get to see how he just continues to trust God through those feelings.